Once upon a time, I paired the best in fantasy series to the most epic rock bands of all time. Roll the intro! You wanted the best booktuber? You got the most mediocre booktuber. I'm Brian Bell and welcome back to BellTube. In today's video, we are matching and pairing the best of fantasy book series to the most epic rock bands of all time. We're not going to waste any time. We're getting right into it. The first one is the most simple one. When you have a lead singer and a lead guitar player that write lyrics that directly reference and quote from the written word, this is going to be an easy number one. By the way, there's 13 of them. 5, 10, 3, 13 book series we're going through today. The first one. Think about it. They're writing about the Misty Mountain. They're writing about the Battle of Evermore. They're talking about the Ringwraiths riding in black. They're talking about Golem and the Evil One. You know what I'm talking about. Lord of the Rings is paired up with the one and only Led Zeppelin. The second book series that we're looking at is Joe Abercrombie's First Law universe. We have people running back and forth to the hills. We have people that are troopers. We have people that are reminiscing on their wasted years. You know it. I know it. The First Law universe is matched up to the one and only Iron Maiden. The third series that we're talking about is A Song of Ice and Fire. We have a battle on Blackwater Bay. What happens in a battle in Blackwater Bay? There's smoke on the water. If you look up, you're going to see fire in the sky. They even have a song called Burn. You know it. I know it. A Song of Ice and Fire. The Game of Thrones series is matched up to the one and only Hall of Famer, Deep Purple. The next series that we're talking about, the intro lyrics. I want you to run with me on this one. A modern day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride. Who's got mean pride? Darrow has mean pride. That's right. This band talks about having a free will. This band talks about problems in society. They allegorize it with trees. Is that even a word, allegorize? It doesn't matter on this rock and roll edition of BellTube because we're matching up the Red Rising saga with Rush. The next series we're talking about might be one of the most rock and roll of all time. We've got Simon. We've got Schuster. We've got Saga's Press. It's the 5 Warrior Angels. Now, there can be really only one band that makes any amount of sense to pair with the 5 Warrior Angel series. Because when I open up the Forgetting Moon, I think the dedication page should say, "For those about to rock, we salute you." The second book is called The Back and Blackest Heart. The third book, The Lonesome Crown, has by far the most batshit bonkers battle scene I have ever read in a fantasy novel. And that is Fiery Absolution. And you know Thunderstruck is playing when that's going on. You got it. The 5 Warrior Angels series is paired up to AC/DC. The 6th book series that we're talking about today starts off on a farm. Then it moves into a small town. There's 14 books. There's 4.4 million words. It's epic. We're traversing. You know where I'm going with this. It's a hero's fill in the blank. If you know anything about Joe Campbell, you got it. We're talking about the Wheel of Time, and there can be only one band that symbolizes the trek. You know what I was about to say, because the Wheel of Time is paired with the one and only Steve Perry-led Journey. The next series that we're talking about, it's many series combined into one. There's several planets. There's elements from each planet that are kind of mysteriously going around in the background. Some of those planets have simple activities going on. Some are extremely complicated, yet they all blend together. There's something for everyone in this series, and I'm talking about the Cosmere. And there's one band that comes to mind when I think about having something for everyone, from the most novice listener to the most well-trained ear for complicated rock and roll. There's only one that we could be doing. That Cosmere is paired with Genesis. And also, we can't forget, like and subscribe, comment on the video, do all of the things. It's rock and roll. You know you need to do that. The next series that we're looking at is rock and roll of itself. It's the Kings of the Wyld series. It's the band. Now, how are we going to think about this? It's got to have a great drummer. It's got to have a guitar player that's had some of the most classic riffs in rock history. It's got to have a singer that can belt it out like none other. You got to have Long Live Rockin' and Rollin'. You've got to have the man from the Silver Mountain. That's right, the Kings of the Wyld is paired up with the Ronnie James Dio-led Rainbow. Now we're getting into something about historical fiction. And when we think about historical fiction in medieval England, I'm thinking about what kind of musicianship there might have been. I'm thinking about what type of instruments they might have been playing. And one comes to mind right away, and it's a flute. And what are they doing? They're standing on one leg. They're playing the flute. The whole album, it comes to mind. The whole series, the trilogy, the Warlord Chronicles. I'm pairing the Warlord Chronicles with the iconic Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull. Medieval greatness. Now we're getting into a dark series. We are talking about somebody who could be considered the monster who kills monsters. This is urban fantasy at its finest. It's a lot of books, and each one is better than the next. We're talking about a guy who escapes from hell to get revenge on the people that put him there in the first place. You know it. It's fated. It's faithful. It's fatal. He is the Mistopheles of Los Angeles. I am pairing up Sandman Slim universe with the iconic hellion himself, Marilyn Manson. For the next book series, we are going to the Doc of Rock himself, the Edan Trilogy. It can be complicated at times. It can be different tempoed at times. Sometimes it gives you enough time to slow down and breathe. Sometimes it gives you never-ending action and complicated themes crisscrossing between each other. And I could only think of one band that brings all of those qualities together in a thoughtful, precise, very well-structured way. That's right, I'm bringing the Doc of Rock himself, Dr. Philip Chase's Edan Trilogy, together with the one and only. Now for something even stranger. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit more mysterious. We are talking about the Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe. It's got dreamy qualities to it. You don't know. It's kind of spacey. Wait a minute. Is there a sun being eclipsed by something? It could be. Maybe the sun's burning out, but maybe it's being eclipsed by the moon. That's right. Dreamy. Complicated. You're not sure what planet you're on. You know what I'm talking about. We are pairing Gene Wolfe's Book of the New Sun with the one and only supremely supernatural Pink Floyd. And the last series that we're talking about today on our epic pairings of rock and roll to fantasy books, we are talking about The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne. When I think about the faithful and the fallen, I think about people in power that are breaking the law. I think about people that are gonna get revenge, and that those people against them have another thing coming. That's right, the faithful and the fallen. The first book is even called Malice. The final book is called Wrath. We are matching up today, the faithful and the fallen, with the one and only Judas Priest. All right, you guys, it's been a rock and roll adventure today, pairing fantasy series to epic classic rock bands. But as usual, we gotta do one for the road. Our one for the road today is confidence. That's our theme. It takes confidence to get up and face the day. So what can you do today to inspire yourself to have a little bit more confidence? Could you stand up a little straighter? Could you speak a little clearer? Could you have a little bit of faith that something inside of you knows best? That's the one for the road. Leave down in the comments for sure if you disagree with my band selections, who you would put in your selections, and most importantly, let me know if you want Volume 2 of the rock and roll paired with the best of epic fantasy series. I'll see you in the next video. Here's your fortune.